Is there any internship or courtship required, for this particular entry?
It is not compulsory, maybe. I think it just builds your PIQ form.
Radhika, you have experience through SSP. Is there any particular myth you want to burst?
And of course, coming from a civilian background, I can burst the myth that anyone who is capable enough will get into the forces.
What exactly was the feeling of recommendation?
I think that was like some euphoric reaction or feeling I had.
Tell me everything about JAG entry.
Okay, so first I will touch upon.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Defense Roger, and I hope you're doing well. My name is Sheetal Yadav, and in this episode we have Radhika, who is rank 1 in JAG entry. It was through attempt journey. In her previous attempt, she got merit out with rank 19, and in her second attempt, she was rank 1 and topped this entry. We have talked about a lot of different factors regarding this entry, regarding courtship or internship requirement, and talking about the kind of vacancies, understanding the process, and I'm sure you'll get to learn a lot from this journey. Without any further delay, let's get back to the video. Hi, Radhika. Welcome to the platform, and I'm very happy that you have joined me because this video is about JAG entry, and this is going to be my first video. And I've observed that there is not as much as information is there on internet. There are a couple of videos. There are retired officers who have shared their journey, but you are all in your rank 1. So, and उससे पहले भी आपका rank 19 रहा है, तो you know everything in and out about this entry. So, thank you so much for joining me for this video.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been a pleasure being a part of this video and a part of your channel as well.
Radhika, I was just a little bit curious to know about, what was the motivation factor because I was trying to know you before we recorded this video. तो मेरे को बहुत सारे ऐसे interesting facts पता चले. You're a super talented girl and you have got the recommendation, but what was the reason you chose armed forces? And exactly journey कब शुरू हुई? And what is your education background? Is there anybody in your family who's from armed forces? एंड कितने अटेम्प्ट्स दिए और कौन से टाइम में आपको रिकमेंडेशन मिला?
Okay, so I come from a completely civilian background, and the only information or idea I had about Indian Army was from movies. So
Okay.
whenever I saw the uniform on the screen, especially a woman wearing it, it always felt very empowered. And as a kid, also, I always wanted to be a part of the armed forces, but with limited information, I did not know how exactly to pursue it. And eventually life happened. I took up law. I went to NLU. And then while I was in my fourth year of my college, then one of my seniors had cracked JAG at that time. So I was interested and I understood that, okay, there is still a way that I can be a part of the armed forces and still have the uniform.
Right.
So I went to him, I asked regarding this entry. He told me everything in details. That's how I got to know. Then I went on YouTube and over the internet. I looked at every motivational video that I could find. And I think all of this combined had given me that fire in my belly to like just pursue it. Having said that, I always I knew that I had to have a backup options. So I did sit for my internships and I got a PPO in my first round itself. So while I was working in a tier one law firm, I thought that I still shouldn't like shy away from my true passion and I should just try it out because unless and until you try it, you'll never know whether you can be there. And also, like, I'm always like this extra person. Like, agar kuch karna hai, to thoda aur karte. Let's just overdo it. So I thought, like, maybe I have achieved of what I wanted to during my law school or when I started my law school journey. But let's see what it is there. Like, because grass is always green on the other side. So, like that, I came in this
Okay.
journey.
So what about the attempts? Like I think as far as my knowledge is concerned, there are two attempts that you have given. And in first attempt you have secured rank 19, and in the next attempt you have secured rank 1. So may I know what exactly you have prepared or what exactly you have made changes in your personality since it's it's a direct entry, it's not a written based entry. So what are the factors that you've really worked on?
So I had started preparing after I graduated from college, and then I started preparing through books, through internet sources, through certain coachings, etc. And what I understood is that you have to bring out the qualities you have which coincide with the OLQs.
Right.
And no matter anything you say, even a word is very important so that it fits into those boxes. But having said that, you also have to have a very individualistic approach towards SSB or towards the entire journey. Because I remember I watched this video where someone said that how much effort you are willing to put when no one is watching.
Right.
So I think, like, preparing it when after my office hours, before 1 hour before I go to office, I think all of that combined had given me this opportunity to uh, move forward with this.
Mhm.
And so for the first attempt, so my first attempt was right after my college when I got eligible for this entry. So for this entry, you need to be a graduate of law with certain percentage. So once I go, and also have a CLAT PG score. So
Mhm.
since I knew that I'm going to sit for this exam, I did appear for CLAT PG in my final year itself.
Okay.
After which, the first attempt came in the month of January after graduation, like in 2020, 25.
Okay.
So I appeared then the first time, and of course I was very nervous. I was very scared, but also very excited to see कि होता क्या है, because I've never been in a army cantonment. I don't know what a tank or a bus that took us inside the center looks like. And when I actually got into the bus, I'm like, whoa, am I a part of the army now? Like, even a little bit. How am I going to go back to real life like that? So I mean, of course, like, certain things where was tough for me in the first attempt. But however, what I understood is you always have to have a good face or the energy to tackle all of that. And
Okay.
it is everything in your mind, all your perceptions. Like, if you think that certain rounds did not work as good as you expected, but still you are not the GTO, right? You are not the evaluator. There's someone else, and they are of course much educated and with much more analytical power than you have.
Right.
So maybe what the part that you have to play in the 5 days of SSB is just give your best. And I remember I was like on my third day or something when my one of my rounds went really like bad. One of my previously recommended friends told me that, see, you have 5 days, you took early from office. All
Mhm.
you can do is either cry about it or
Mhm.
not to take any beating and just enjoy it as a vacation, man, because this is not going to come back. Like, फिर
Right.
तुम वापस चले जाओगे. And then
Mhm.
I thought, yeah, man, अब तो हो गया है. Now let me just enjoy it. So I
Mhm.
remember in my first attempt, I was so sure that I'm going to go back home after 5 days. Like, okay, now I'm going to go back and everything is going to be good.
Mhm.
So when the confidence came in the first attempt, I was so happy. I was all smiley, and then they saw that confidence in me, and they started grilling me in the conference itself. They started asking me one SRTs over another and building the difficulty level. And
Mhm.
since I was so sure, like, क्या ही हो जाएगा? मतलब, I'm already not in the game, right? So
Mhm.
I just answered it with full confidence, like thinking properly, and I got recommended.
Mhm.
So, and then I had to stay back for the medicals, which was a little sad that I couldn't go back. So I knew that, okay, like, maybe not to overthink in the second attempt, but just to prepare better, because in
Mhm.
the next one, because ऐसा होता है ना कि in that 5 days when you have no internet sources or any other sources to refer any more preparatory materials on, then you think काश और 2 दिन मिल जाता, मैं थोड़ा और पढ़ लेती या फिर लेक्चर की वो दो टॉपिक देख लेती थोड़ा सा. So
Mhm.
when the next attempt came, I was very sure that ऐसा ना हो जाए कि आई विल कम लेस प्रिपेयर्ड, बिकॉज जो भी हो जाए हम देख लेंगे. मतलब, अगेन, how much can you prepare or over prepare? Like, you can only prepare a certain amount. And having said that, you will also have to think that, like science, nothing is in the ideal state. Like, you are just a human, so there will be mistakes, there will be some, like, इधर उधर तो हो ही जाएगा. But जब
Right.
इधर उधर भी हो जाएगा, तब भी is it good
Mhm.
enough to pass that or to be fulfilled with that round? So
Right.
that's how I went for the second attempt. And I think in my second attempt, I was so confident, so like into whatever is happening, making friends, and like interacting with the GTOs whenever they gave us some like tricky questions, and listening to them more attentively gave me an edge over, I think, my last attempt. So I knew that in this attempt, my competition is with myself and nothing else. So, of course, I will take the team ahead with me in the SSB process. But what I'm fighting for is my rank 19 to my rank 1, because I knew that with only 4 vacancies this time, you can only aim for rank 1. Otherwise, there is nothing for you. That should be the preparatory level when
Hmm.
it comes to SSB.
Right.
So that's how I went about it.
Like you said, you had a senior who helped you to understand the complete understanding about this entry. But there will be a lot of people who wants to join army through JAG entry, but they literally have not much resources. Radhika, I want to know from your experience and from the things that you have gathered through internet and various other things. Tell me everything about JAG entry, like how many vacancies are there, what kind of entry it is, about the cutoff, how somebody can apply, and about the training and kind of role they're going to do in the army as far as your knowledge is concerned.
Okay, so first I will touch upon what and how the JAG entry looks like. And second, once you qualify the rounds, then what happens and where the training goes. So I think the notification comes twice every year, and it is rolled out by the Indian Army website, Join Indian Army website to be precise. And once you look into the notification, I think that's the knowledge that one or the preparatory stage zero. For someone, at least for me, it was so. That means that I read through the notifications so well that so that I know that what all to do, what all to pack, and what all should I focus on. For example, in your law school, no matter if you can have like a 3 year degree or a 5 year degree course. I come from a 5 year degree course,
Okay.
and after that, in the graduation, you will have to have a aggregate of 55%.
Mhm.
Alongside that, you also have to qualify the CLAT PG exam, and the cutoff is, I think, the rumor has it that the cutoff is kind of standard and not that competitive as well, because they just want to maybe check how serious you are
Mhm.
for this entry, or maybe like if you are well enough to actually go for SSB. So I think this time the cutoff was 24 for women and 29 for men, if I'm not wrong, or maybe the vice versa. So let's say it was around 24 to 29 marks on 200.
Okay.
And apart and with that, once you fill up the form, including your personal details, and your educational details, then the selection notification comes in. One selection for SSB. Once you get selected for the SSB, then you can choose. They only give you the place and the location of the SSB and the dates. So accordingly, you can go for the SSB. Now, coming little back, I think I missed some details about the JAG entry. How does the entry looks like? So in the notification itself, they mentioned that the training would take place in OTA Chennai for 49 weeks, and it is a short service commission with a maximum period of 14 years to serve. And then you will get an opportunity to serve in the permanent commission as well once, and according to the, I think, the merit that it go like with time, how the merit looks like maybe. And anything else is um
What kind of competition level? How many people who
okay.
apply for this entry?
Yes. So, with my limited knowledge of SSBs, I have seen that with each course, they conduct two SSBs for women in different locations. And since I could only experience one at a time, I have seen incoming students or women of 200 to 150 to 200 women. So I think all
Okay.
in all, the one course might have around 400 women for the entry, and the vacancies differ every course. So in last to last time, the number of vacancies were 5 for women and 5 for men, and this time it was 4 for women and 4 for men. And with the new judgment of Supreme Court coming out regarding the JAG entry, I think for the next time there will be a combined vacancy for men and women, even though I think the SSB will be conducted individually. However, when the merit list it will be prepared, it will be purely according to the marks. So whoever, regardless the gender, gets the highest marks will get to be in the merit list.
Right. Okay. I think we have almost covered the whole JAG entry, and we'll talk in much more detail in the upcoming discussion, which we are going to do. Radhika, one thing that is a concern of lot of candidates or aspirants who are about to apply, that is there any internship or courtship required, for this particular entry? Does it add any value, or what is your experience talks about this one?
So I think, to me, every internship I have done, every courtship experience I have gathered through moot court competition and through internships and my job, nothing gets discounted. I have learned something or the other from everything. For example, in when I used to do moot court competitions in my college, the level of confidence in it gave me to speak in front of a judge is unparalleled. So when you prepare for a, let's say, a moot court competition, you expect the judge to grill you. So, and we are told beforehand that if the judge does not rebut your arguments, that means that they are not interested in your arguments in the first place, or maybe they know that your arguments are so vanilla that it doesn't qualify their attention.
Right.
So when cross questions come in an interview as such, or in a courtroom scenario,
Mhm.
they build you to tackle that kind of questions, and they also build your preparation level as well. So
Okay.
having said that, when I went for my interview in ssbs, when the interviewer would cross question me or try to, try to uh, grill me in a way, so that they want to see me, that if I can get deviated from the point I'm speaking, is again from the experience that I've gathered from all of that, because I knew that, and I was so excited for them to cross question me or maybe break my sentences into like various parts in that process, because maybe they are interested in listening to me, or maybe they want to know more about me in that regard. So how I approach my interview is that I was very excited for them to question me so much that when they did, I was excited to answer and not just getting scared, like, oh, why is he asking me such difficult questions?
Right.
So again, coming back to your question, so the moot court internship experiences do count or not. It is not compulsory, maybe, but if you have more co-curricular and extracurricular activities, I think it just builds your a PIQ form, right? There's a reason that they give so much of space in terms of the number of sports you have played, in terms of co-curricular activities you have done. So there has to be some reason, right? So
Mhm.
having understood that, otherwise, why would they give that much of space, or like you to fill that information in? Is maybe for some reason, maybe they want to see that apart from academics, of course, everyone has to have some academic background, which is required. So how much extra are you, like how much you are aware of your situation and the resources you have, and how much you have built upon that? Maybe that is what they looked for, is what, in my opinion.
No, right, Radhika, and that is very a positive outlook that you have, considered that all the past experiences are going to help you definitely in your postal interview. Let's talk about psych first, and then we'll talk about interview in GTO. Psych is one of the scariest thing which candidate think when they apply for this entry,
Yeah.
because you have to continuously write back-to-back test in a very limited time. How would what are your recommendations when it comes to TAT? Because यहाँ पे you are going to see a picture and then you have to write a story. And the precisely thing which I am very interested in knowing is that people generally talk about to make a natural story and have more actions to it. But how to do it and how to process the complete story and just pen down everything in a very limited time is the biggest challenge. So what is your take in TAT?
Okay, so I think TAT, or in general psych, is something came very difficult to me initially. I remember starting with SRTs, and I looked at the questions and I thought कि I'll just escape. मैं पापा को call करूँगी. Like मैं तो भाग जाऊँगी यहाँ से. But then धीरे धीरे I understood that what do the SSB require from
Right.
me? Like how will they know that I can be on the other side of the river, right? So in that way, how I saw it is like, put yourself in that person's shoe and think like an officer, not like an officer, think like a hero who is of national importance. Like let's say, अगर आप फुद्दू ना हो, like अगर आप भागोगे नहीं तो आप क्या करोगे, with of course your limitations in hand, what are you going to do? So
Right.
that's how I approach psychological tests in general. But coming to TAT, I think law school has made me, had built me to this to some extent, because like when you study law, or maybe with each and every subtopic of law, you have to remember case laws, like maybe to 4 to 5 case laws with every little topic that you learn. So each case laws or illustrations will have different kind of stories, which maybe can be boxed under the same line of law. So what it means is that with every little line, I will know 4 different situations or 4 different scenarios to tackle that one thing. So how I approached is that whenever I saw a TAT story, so initially I did not look at the time limit or anything, because I knew that I have a good handwriting speed. Because again, in law school, you need to write so many pages. I knew that I have that in me. So what I had to prepare myself is the level of story that I can come up with or cook up with. Now see, SSB is same for everyone, like a NDA 12th grader also, and a 5 year law graduate also.
Right.
But the difference in how you approach is that you obviously have to and maybe the questions or maybe the TAT stories would also be the same for both entries. But the difference between JAG is that they will see ki how developed are you or how matured are you according to your age. You cannot just write a vanilla or a normal or a medium level story. Like
Right.
the first hurdle I think you should cross once you start with TAT is to think about a story. There has to be a story coming in your mind. You cannot go blank. You cannot afford to go blank.
Okay.
Number one. Number two is how I prepared is I used to sit with one story, let's say for half an hour, for 45 minutes, or maybe sometimes half a day. And I would think about 5 different themes that I can bring out from that one story. Now, when I would think about one theme, I would just write maybe on my computer, or maybe if I have a hard sheet of paper with pictures or a book, then I would just write down with my pencil regarding the theme, like maybe in a line or two, and especially about the actions. See, there are two kind of TAT pictures that come up. One which is like where actions can be seen. For example, an accident, the hospital. In that case, you don't have to wrap your brain much regarding thinking of a story. If it's an accident story, you have to think about the accident story. Maybe the trick lies in what kind of actions or how detailed your actions are when you write those stories.
Right.
But when, especially in women entries, you have mostly blank kind of stories, like maybe a woman figure where you can actually portray them as a hero, but also uh, maybe something around social services, or maybe something around maybe catering to the grassroots level of the society. But again, having known that you cannot write all your stories on NGOs or something like that. So with every blank theme, you should know that you are capable enough or you're prepared enough to come up with different themes. And I think that comes with the preparatory stage. So once I got thorough with, okay, whenever I see a picture, be it any picture, even if it's hazy, even if I cannot decipher what it is exactly, still I can cook up or come out with a story considering a past, the present with detailed action, and also a future line in the end.
Right.
So TAT will take a lot of time. I think the maximum time while preparing for psychological tests. So, but it will demand time, and I think similarly, it is the most rewarding as well.
Right. When it comes to WAT, there are certain words we get out of blank because they might be negative, and we have that perception in our head that, that blocks our mind to think beyond the two elements. Like if the word is drink, so the first perception that comes to our mind is that drinking alcohol. People generally symbolize it, but he maybe it comes with practice. I'm sure आपने भी इसको struggle किया होगा. Any suggestion you want to give regarding WAT and SRT as well? Because SRTs, you get similar kind of situation, but your response is very important.
Yeah. So starting with WAT, again, I think maybe start with not looking at the time limits.
Mhm.
Again, I sat with one word, and I came up with five different sentences. I took like a good amount of, let's say, 20 minutes, 25 minutes for one word even. And I think one trick that I use for negative sentences is that I come from law background, right?
Okay.
So anything that is negative will have something in law. Let's say in the criminal laws, or maybe let's say in evidence laws. So even in the worst case scenario, I cannot come up with a positive sentence. I would rather write a legal fact or maybe some
Okay.
law. But I think this is just a trick. But again, you can't repeat doing it in your SSB, right?
Right, right.
So again, like preparing with different kinds of words with different themes regarding even one word will
Mhm.
actually make us believe, or maybe prepare us in a very subconscious level. So once you think about each and everything in your psychology, day night day out,
Mhm.
so your subconscious brain will also think like that. So your personality will also coincide with the OLQs that you are looking for in your sheets as well.
Right.
So I think like preparing it slowly but steadily, what initially will help you. And even in SRTs, I think again, put yourself in that hero's shoes. तुम भाग नहीं सकते, तुम अपने पापा को कॉल नहीं कर सकते, अब तुम क्या करोगे? So
बिल्कुल.
then you think, and every time I used to attempt SRTs, I would think about the picture in my head, even if it's like, even in real SSB, if I had to attend it in 2-3 seconds, let's say you go to a room and your siblings are there and there's a cobra entering your room, what will you do? And in that split second, I would actually picture it in my brain. मैं क्या करूँगी? Okay, and then I think once you put yourself in that shoes, answer आ जाएगा. Like you will know what to do.
Mhm.
And again, like I refer to a lot of books, like especially SSB interview by Natarajan sir. And I think most books that are available of SSB crack and Arihant, they
Mhm.
will have some samples of SRTs,
Right.
and reading them through, understanding that what exactly to write, not copying the answer. That is your individual way to look at a topic, right? But knowing to how to start and where to end, like how much future action should be included in your SRTs, is very important. I remember there was a question in SSB this time was, you asked for some money from some of your friends and they denied to give you, but you are in utter need of money. So what will you do? So
Mhm.
some of my friends had written that I will give reasons to my friends as to how urgently I need the money and how grave the situation is. I will influence my friends and they will give me the money. Right?
Mhm.
There is no wrong. So again, like in SRTs, WATs, there is no wrong answers.
Right.
But how I answered the same question is that, okay, having understood that there has to be some limitation as to why my friend could not give me money, I would take my friends along to the bank, and I would get a loan and eventually ask my friends to be a guarantor, maybe, and eventually give back the money in installments. So
Okay.
I think there is no wrong way to answer an SRT, but only how you look at that problem and
Mhm.
how you will tackle that problem of your own. So
Right.
again, with time and practice, this also can be done. And I think time is also of essence when it comes to SRTs and WATs, especially.
Mhm.
So after you understood that you have mastered some of its skills, then
Mhm.
maybe you should look at the time and the clock and practice, so that you also know that without the clock, how fast can you write or complete those 60 SRTs or whatever.
Radhika, when it comes to personal interview, I was just wondering, is there any observation that you have made that most of the question are from law related thing, or they were related to personal affair? I mean, in terms of your personal life, your your studies, and everything like that. So, what was your experience when it comes to personal interview? Is it more about law information or law knowledge, or related personal life?
So I think the knowledge of law is a part of a personal life of a lawyer, right? So
Okay.
again, like when a JAG entry person is going for the interview, when they will ask you what do you do, what have you studied, what is your educational background, then they will know that you have studied this all subjects, right? And
Mhm.
therefore it becomes a part of your personality. Now, let's say they ask you very basic question of law. Let's say, what is a contract under Indian Contract Act? And if you're not able to answer something as basic as that, then it hits your personality, right? That means that you're not aware of the situation you come from, or you have studied for 5 long years, or maybe some people, or even longer for people who does higher studies as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've like from my friends' as experience as well. I've seen that they do ask very general awareness questions regarding law. For example, talk about the new criminal laws that have come in place. And again, this is not something very law, be very nuanced in law, I would say. Like anyone who is going for the interview should know these, right? Because it is a national important, like national importance, and it comes in the newspapers, etc.
Right.
So, and like some nuanced questions could be, let's say this is a situational based SRT, this happened, then how would you tackle, how would you do and
Can
write an
you share
FIR?
such of the scenarios? Because I think through your experience, a lot of people are going to learn the exact understanding of personal interview. I mean, let's bifurcate this personal interview segment into three parts. Firstly,
Okay.
how somebody can prepare when it comes to PI, and which are the areas they need to focus more. Like you said, law-related information and personal affair related things that about your family, about your understanding about your work, and how do you manage, and third will be SRTs that they have countered you. Well, so if these area will be covered, I think this is going to be a holistic approach candidate is going to get.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for bifurcating it. It's very helpful. So, starting with how I approach the interview. So, when you fill up that PIQ form, and
Mm.
of course, if you're going for an interview, SSB process, then you will practice the PIQ form from beforehand. And
Right.
each and every word that you put down in that paper should be prepared for the interview. Like even my name, where does the name come from? What is its meaning? Who gave it to me? Things like that, or maybe some important personalities of the same name. And even like, let's say I come from this particular town in West Bengal. So about that town, how was it created? Anything important? Maybe so. For example, my town has some importance with regarding the independence struggle.
Yes.
So regarding that, everything, even your parents' names, their meaning. When you write down your hobbies, you should know the technicalities regarding your hobby. For example, I used to write my hobbies basically is high altitude trekking, rock climbing, and photography. So I knew that a lot of technical questions could be asked regarding high altitude trekking. So I learned everything regarding it. And then I went to various websites. It takes like hardly a day or two to prepare about it, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe any sports that you play. So, what are the rules of that sports? What are the measurements of the playground that the sports is being played? Any national important news or any sports personalities attached to that sports or something that you follow,
Mhm.
like that. So similarly, when you write your achievements regarding your academics, including your co-curricular and extracurricular in your law school, you will obviously, for example, I had international moot court competition experiences, so I knew that questions could be asked in that regard. So I looked back in my memorandums, I prepared my arguments again, so that I don't get stuck anywhere, so that they know that this person has come prepared of whatever their background is. Because there's something very basic, matlab, like imagine if they ask you something very basic like tell me about your hometown, or let's say I and my wife will go to your hometown for a visit, maybe a couple of days. How will you make the itinerary about it?
Mhm.
Things like that. So imagine if you cannot even make an itinerary in your own hometown, then kitna fuddu lagoge na. So
Right.
I just wanted to save myself some embarrassment regarding that. And when it comes to law, also I studied basics of, let's say, the criminal laws, the amendments that came up, the law. Like for example, I practice commercial litigation, so I read more about SEBI regulations and the Companies Act, then the basics, and also I prepared in details the Army Act and the Army rules. And I have heard that they don't really ask, but you can also lead on to ask such difficult questions to you. For example, when the interviewer asked me, like, how did you exactly prepare for the SSB interview? I did mention that I did go and made notes, like read the Army Act, the rules, the APSPA Act, the Disturbed Area Acts. And then he went on to ask me that, okay, tell me what is JAG? and what are the roles that a JAG does. And I knew the exact section number and the rule number. So I mentioned, so this section of the Army Act talks about this, and I can understand that these are the duties of a JAG officer in the Indian
Understood.
Army.
Right.
So, so of course, like when he asked me the preparation style, I led the interview in a way that he might ask me in a way that comes in my syllabus.
Hmm.
So I think that's how, and that's the only law question I came across in my SSBs. But my friends were asked regarding their opinion on, let's say, the judiciary system, and if there are any amendments that they would want to do, what would that be? Maybe the NJSE, etc. Then they were asked regarding, I think, certain cases also, like the landmark cases of the Constitution. Sometimes they ask regarding that. Again, the landmark cases of Constitution is so basic that if a law student does not know it, then it is a sad state of affair. So
Right.
maybe they ask very basic questions, but it doesn't might not look very basic.
Hmm.
Once we have to identify that and maybe prepare it accordingly,
Right.
is what I would suggest.
Is
And
there,
coming to,
please?
okay, yes. So coming to SRTs also, one of my friends were asked regarding, let's say, some accident happened and you witnessed that. So
Hmm.
how would you approach it from a law point of view? And then, like, maybe the person could answer things like, I would go to the nearest police stations, maybe file a zero FIR. I would look that what is the background of the person or the victim who faced it. Maybe arrange some legal aid. If it is not being arranged, I might help in, like that. But the SRTs that were asked to me, I think, was little different.
Okay.
First, in the first conference round, they asked me regarding high altitude trekking. They say, let's say your friend and you are going on a trek. What all things will you pack? Okay, then I told them what are the things. Then they will say, okay, let's say you guys are going और साइड में एक waterfall है and वहाँ पे ना कोई like there was this actually from a news, I think happened in last monsoon season where a family had washed out in the heavy flow of rain from the mountaintop. So I think he was trying to ask me something like, let's say a family is stuck on a rock in and अचानक से इतना ज्यादा तेज से waterfall का speed आ गया, what will you do? Then I told him how I will tackle with the equipments I brought. He's like, okay, let's say अब तक बहुत भीड़ जम गया, how will you use the human resources to rescue them?
Hmm.
And then he increased the difficulty. Let's say कि एक बंदा उस फैमिली के बह गया है, like they have flown down in the water force, what will you do?
Hmm.
And there is no maybe connection, you do not have a landline connection. Then I said, this is how I'm going to tackle, maybe inform the NDRF or maybe ask the Maggie guy to call someone in the village down and make them aware that something is,
Right.
some human being is in danger down, so maybe they can set up a net kind of a thing down below the altitude, like that. And in the next interview, which was very interesting, I remember he tried to ask me something like, okay, you come from a civilian background and you're a Bengali, and not a lot of Bengalis are in this category. So why did you come? And I was like, okay, see, I have no information as to how many Bengalis are there in this officer cadre, right? Cadre. But
Hmm.
all I know is during the Indian freedom struggle, it was the Bengalis who were in the front line, and I come from that blood. And it's like, oh, impressive. I was like, yeah. So I don't know where does this come from. Just as a because I was so chill in the interview, so I
Hmm.
think like you could use your brain and your witty sense of mind for that. But one huge chunk of my interview went on into this one SRT where he started on asking me, what is feminism to you? So I told him like feminism is like equality of opportunities in the career prospects. And having said that, we also should understand that there are some limitations and between male and female according to nature. Then he says, okay, you understand there is some differences in bodily physics. I said yes. Then he said, okay, tell me, should women come in the combat forces? I said yes, they should. um, and then he said like, why? Because see, agar ek war hota hai and then let's say the woman goes into the field, then it will not be very fruitful for them, right? They are physically weak, you said. I said, sir, the definition of war has changed. Now when we look at a war, we see more of information war and cyber war as well. So when we look at the Balakot strike, it was a woman officer who planned out the entire stream, and then the infantry went ahead for the strike. Then he said, "Okay, let's say that and I think after an answer, I also mentioned about Gunjan Saxena, like being a part of the Kargil war as well. Then he said, okay, let's say there is a war with an enemy nation, and Gunjan Saxena became a POW, prisoner of war, and whereas Abhimanyu also became a prisoner of war. Now, where do you think the sentiments of the Indian citizens will move towards? And whether that sentiment will affect how Indian army will strategize the war? Then I said the primary motto of Indian Army is to protect the nation and its integrity. So maybe we should look towards our goal and the aim to protect the nation from a foreign harm. Then he said, "No, Radhika, there's a lot of struggles you win before you win a war." So then I said, "Yeah, then maybe women should come in a phased manner." So, in this line of thoughts, what I want to highlight is that maybe he wants to see ki how much flexible are you, or maybe how much egoistic are you into sticking to your answer. He
Right.
wanted to hear that yes, women should be maybe at a later stage of the combat support forces, maybe, or maybe something like this. The strategy of the Indian army should change where how when it comes to combat women in the combat forces. So he wanted to see how I tackle the answer not in an egoistic way, but also how flexible I can get while answering that question. So when it happened, I said like after a point I did not have any answer. I think I was reiterating the answer. But I always had a smile on my face. I'm like, huh, I know you're grilling me and I am for it. Come on. So then it was like, then in the end, I answer like, sir, according to the parameters you have made, I think you are correct in the approach. And then he's like, okay, now moving on to the next part of the interview. So
Okay.
I think that's a hook that saved me.
Exactly. Actually, the kind of question they want to know is just to know about your perspective to the field that
Yes,
you're joining, and the way you set certain examples would have definitely bifurcated you, and to set you different from other people who are justifying by giving the same answers on loop. And smile is one of the prettiest thing that really works in the interview because that suppresses your nervousness during that particular.
yes,
Right. I would like to add few of the things that if anybody is going for SSP, they can keep those things in mind. Firstly, if you are like you said, PIQ is one of the it is the kundli for SSP. So go through
yes,
every minute detail that you have mentioned about your father profession, how much he is earning, what his profession is all about, what your mother do, how she manages. If she's a homemaker, how do she manage everything? What are the kind of expenses you are doing on yourself? Every
yes,
minute thing. If you are getting pocket money, then how you are managing, and the kind of studies you have done in your past. School में क्या किया, college में क्या किया, and you need to have a justification regarding that as well. Like if you are unable to score, like you have scored good in 10th but not in 12th, what is the reason that your marks drop? And
yes,
certainly there will be times that you might be at a urge of argument. Avoid that. There is no need to have that. You can have a sense of acceptance about your failures as well. There's no bad in, I mean, कम number आना कोई बुरी चीज नहीं है. And when it comes to your passion towards army, you should need to know about headquarters एंड कौन सा रेजिमेंट, थोड़ा थोड़ा बेसिक पता होना चाहिए आपको, कमांड्स कहाँ पे है, एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ रोल अ जैग ऑफिसर इज गोइंग टू have in the future. And if you have some inspiration as well, you need to know certain people's name. कहाँ पे ट्रेनिंग होनी है, कितने मंथ की ट्रेनिंग है, you need to know a little bit more about training as well. So if you know certainly these areas, वो आपका interest, since it's a direct entry, there is no written barrier. So what made you shine out in this entry is your a little more effort that you are going to put during this thing, and gather more knowledge and experience through other people interviews. आप उनसे पूछ सकते हो किस तरह की question. And CIQ, when it comes to CIQ, you can count on your fingers, okay, इतने question पूछे, and if you're unable to answer, you can just simply say that, sir, I think I'm lacking the in one of the questions. If you can correct, or you can just simply take a moment and then recall and then reply, okay, yeah,
yes.
that is something.
To add on to I would just say that sometimes even they will ask you very simple question from PIQ like what sports do you play, or
Right.
how you spend your weekends. Now
Mm-hmm.
how you answer that, it makes a huge difference. You
Absolutely.
can with every word or every thing you say about your weekend should reflect an OLQ. For example, he would ask me like, okay, how do you play the sports every day? How do you accommodate in your daily life? Then I told him that I wake up early in the morning and I go for a run. Then he asked me like, how long do you run? I said I cover 5 kilometers in this much amount of time. And then he said, oh, only 32 minutes, but you have been running for a long time, so why not less? Then I could either like say, yes, it's sad, or how I said it was that, sir, when I started with my 5 kilometer runs, I started with 45 minutes. But now I am at 32 minutes. So that itself is a progress for me, and I hound for that. So then it's like, okay, perfect. So sometimes even the simple questions could be answered in a very ornamental way so that it portrays your personality and that edge over other people.
Right.
And even in CIQ, how I used to is do is first there is a particular series and you should mug up from beforehand, like what
Absolutely.
kind of questions that they will ask one by one. And let's say even if they ask one, like they shuffle the sequence, how I handled it was whenever they would ask me something, I would think about one picture from that particular answer. For example, let's say they will ask you, okay, well, how what do you do when you are together in a family? I would think us having dinner in a dinner table. So that I know कि इसके बाद ये picture था, उसके बाद ये picture था, and that's how I answer. Maybe a candidate could decipher their way of how to remember things, but this helped me, like, to go to that mind palace and like think from that way. Yes, and third thing is like sometimes we should understand in that interview. Sometimes I think mostly what we should understand from the interview process is that they are not our opponent. They are not to judge us or mark us. They are our teammates. They are just checking whether I can be their teammate as or not. So they are just trying to see whether you fit in that aim or the motto of Indian Army, and they want to take you anyway. So they are ready to take you. They just want to see that आप सही हो कि नहीं
Correct.
हमारे इस साइड आने के लिए. So don't approach an interview saying that that is my opponent and that is my enemy and I should always defend myself from them. Maybe they're trying to just lead on with the correct answer sometimes and just pick up on that cue and proceed further. So every question that they ask, always the first thing you should answer to yourself is, why is that person asking me that question? Like, even if, like, what is the speed of your running? Why will he ask me that question? Or let's say, what do you do in a weekend? Why is he interested in knowing what I do with my friends on a weekend? There has to be some reason. And you should highlight that reason through your answers.
You have paid a lot of time, evaluating every question. That is so nice of you. Radhika, let's go to GTO. GTO is one of the important tasks, one of the important areas of SSP interview, but it is so long. We can't discuss each and every task. But any two to three observations that you have made that has really helped you to bond better with your team and to perform better and get highlighted in the GTO.
Yes, I think one thing that I learned from my first interview in SSB process that I inculcated in the second one is, you know already who are the 10 people you're going to do the GTO task with. Be friends with them as soon as possible.
Right.
Be Do not be a stranger to them. So पहले SSB में क्या हुआ था, I was put in a room where all the previously recommended people were there, which of course helped me in the long process, and we are still the best of friends now. But that actually cut me off from the group that I was supposed to do my GTO with. So I did not get enough time to bond with them. So whenever I was speaking something, I could see a lot of resistance from them to take my opinion when it came to the GTO rounds, or maybe GD also. So
Okay.
what I inculcated in my second one is, become friends. Like, you will have to make them trust you before the real trusting tests goes on. So
Absolutely.
that's one thing that I think it's a very personal for me that I would want to share. That happens because we are in the end working on human basic psychology, right?
Right.
So of course you're going to always trust or listen to a friend rather than a stranger. And having said that, everyone is your competitor, right? So that thing. And GTO, how I prepared is, of course, it was very difficult, little difficult for me initially with the PGT tasks and all. So even on the internet and otherwise, some of my friends had sent me a lot of pictures of obstacles. I would look at one obstacle picture at a time. I would think what are the different ways I can put my plank and rassi and balli, and how I would um, like like overcome that obstacle or that particular round. So thinking ahead as to or anticipating as to what will come in the GTO rounds is the get go, I think. So similarly, for individual obstacles, so again that is your physical stamina and how much you have to face on the ground. So again, of course, some of the obstacles are difficult for some people, especially the height and everything. What I told myself during obstacle was that आपको तो करना ही है, आप तो भाग नहीं सकते, आप ऊपर चढ़ गए हो. So and it is for you only to do. It is not some superhuman to succeed, right? तो करना ही है तो just do it. No. And then once you do it, it's just fun. You would want to do it again, kind of a
Right.
thing. So I think I would suggest is GTO rounds come prepared, but when you are on the field, just enjoy. I remember one of the group tasks we were doing. Oh, it was my command task, and I had already done few obstacles, and I think the last obstacle was race. I was in the middle of the obstacle, and I realized that my load was already on the other side. And then once I realized, I asked my subordinates, "Ki, can you bring the load?" And then, of course, due to understood that I actually forgot to bring the load in the first obstacle ahead with me. Then he stopped me. He's like, just stop it here. And of course, I was like, हाँ, अब क्या हो गया बताओ. So I always had a smile. And then he said, like, I told you something initially in the GTO round. Do you remember? I said, yes, sir. You told us to take the load always with you in the same path as you go. Then he said, I said something else also. And I said, yes, you also told that to treat the load as your boyfriend and always be careful of that load and bring it along. He said, is this how you treat your boyfriend? We all started laughing, and I also started laughing. He also started laughing, and I'm like, no, so that's not how I do it. Then it's like, so karo fir leke aao. I said, okay, sorry.
So he
So I
wanted you
think
to go back and then, just collect the load and come back, rather than asking your subordinate to collect. My God, this was something different. I would never expected from anyone.
yeah. So I mean, he was having fun. I was having fun. Everyone was having fun. So we just did it.
Okay.
So yeah. So I think the way to do GTO is practice, be prepared, and anticipate anything that could come in your in your SSB. But also again, for example, in my first SSB, my individual obstacle went very good, and in the second one, my command in the commando task only my legs were shaking. Actually, the entire instrument was shaking. So with that, my legs were shaking. And then after I did the entire task, I was thinking, I was overthinking a little bit, like I was prepared for this. I did this beforehand. So how come I did not do it? I could not perform as well this time. But then I thought we are just human.
Right.
Human will make mistake, right? You cannot calculate. सब कुछ ideal state में तो नहीं होगा. तो
Mhm.
कुछ ना कुछ तो छूटेगा ही बनी. तो
Right.
बस आगे बढ़ते रहो. That's it.
My God. Radhika, you're such a fun person to, discuss everything. And I'm sure you would have not taken any extra stress, that would have impacted your performance during the SSP. But you shared one thing about your conference. You have experienced two conferences and both were, pretty little interesting. I want to know a little more detail about the conference experience you had.
Oh, so in the first round, I think in the both rounds, I was very chill.
Okay.
First, because I thought कि घर ही जाना है, क्या ही हो जाएगा, बस जल्दी जल्दी निपटा लो, ठीक है. So therefore, I sat down, relaxed, and they asked me one SRTs over the other. And when they started asking me, then I thought, okay, so maybe they are considering me into something, because why would they again waste their time on me if other people are just having it for 1 minute or 2 minutes. So in
Right.
the first one, I had a series of SRTs regarding the trekking that I mentioned earlier. And after that, they asked me generic questions like, how was your stay? Did you make any friends? Where all did you go in this campus? I was from 34 Board Allahabad. So where all did you go? Tell me the route that you took to go to that hospital or to that library. So then I had a normal discussion with them. So I was not nervous. Again, having said that, because I have faced that kind of bench beforehand in my in my moot court competitions, and even when I appear in courts as well. So again, like humanizing someone in front of you will make you feel like it's just a conversation in the end of the day. In the end of the day, they are also just human beings.
Right.
कोई कोई ऐसा तो घबराने की तो कोई बात नहीं है. उनको नहीं लेना है तो नहीं ही लेंगे. Nothing to lose from my side, right? अभी भी तो मेरे पास कुछ नहीं है हाथ में, right? Only up and onwards from here. So, and this time when I went for the conference, I relaxed myself, and the main person, he started asking me the questions. He asked me that how did I prepare differently from the last time I appeared for SSB,
Okay.
and I told him that this time I practiced more, I anticipated more, so I came more prepared. With whatever it may come, I have to face it, and I faced it with a lot of enthusiasm this time. And then, like, okay, so let's say you don't get selected this time, what will you do? I said that, sir, I did my best, and it is only destiny if I get selected or not. So if I don't, I will, if I do or I don't, I will accept it and just move on. Then he said, like, oh, okay, yes, you will move on. And I think he completed the last part of my sentence as well. So
Okay.
I was like, yes, yes, sir. That's how I'm going to look at this SSB, no matter what the outcome is. And I said, okay, perfect. Talking. It was nice talking to you. So that's it. I think it was very short, like just two questions.
Okay. Radhika, you have experienced two SSB, and while preparation also, there are a lot of myth that just revolve around everywhere on the internet. Any such myth you want to burst, that you have personally experienced, because now you're on the other side of the whole selection process and you exactly know what happens in and out. Is there any particular myth you want to burst?
I think one myth that I was told on beforehand, that only army brats can get through SSBs. So I was told by a lot of people actually that only people who are aware of the system or whose parents are have served, they know the atmosphere better. So they also, and even the SSB people also try to take people who are already from the fraternity.
Okay.
But then someone also told me, on the other hand, that whenever they recommend you or not recommend you, they have to submit a report saying why they did or not do so.
Right.
So if you are a good candidate, there is no force in this universe to stop you.
Absolutely.
So you do your best and like leave the rest, because certain things are not in your hands, but what are in your hands, you go over and beyond that. So I
Mhm.
think with that, I just prepared likewise, like whatever was with me, whatever resources I had, whatever time I got, I just did that. And that, and of course, coming from a civilian background, I can burst the myth that it is not so. Like anyone who is capable enough will get into the forces.
Absolutely. Actually, I also heard this myth during my times. And now, after interacting with so many people and understanding the data as well, there are more officers from civil background rather than army. But one of the factor that can really impact somebody's performance is that they know the environment, they know exactly, they were groomed like that by their families. So they can give a slight upper edge. But when it comes to leadership skills, knowledge, and other factors, I think these are self-groomed things, so it does do not impact that much to your performance. It's completely your understanding towards the process and your stimulus to certain reactions, how you respond to it. Radhika, it's just one of the few last question I want to know. You were recommended twice, one time rank 19 to rank 1. What exactly was the feeling of recommendation? Recommendation is a good feeling, but what was the feeling when you got from merit out to merit in? And how did you felt when you saw the merit list also scoring rank 1?
Yeah. So in the first time, I was in the first one when I got recommended for the first time, I was very happy. I was like, "ये क्या हो गया मेरे साथ?" So I think that was like some euphoric reaction or feeling I had. And in the second one, I was of course very happy, but with the very limited number of vacancies in this entry, I also calmed myself equally. I was like, okay, this is a success or a success stone for you, but this is not the end. Let the merit list come out, then we will enjoy. So I remember even when I called my parents from there and I'm like, I got recommended again, even they are like, like, calm down. You are there, you are a star. So let's say you look little long, you see a little longer to understand how it's going to work out, because I've seen a lot of my friends who are in the OTA or otherwise, they have gotten recommended 5 6 times from the JAG entry, and still in the last attempt when they are age 27, like their last attempt, they have been, let's say, ranked 9 or 8 or something. So it's very heart crushing to know that, you have given your best, and just maybe for few marks you're not able to make it in the cut, right? So I calculated both ways, like क्या होगा, मतलब अगर नहीं भी होगा, and I was here for the long haul, अगर इस बार नहीं होता मैं age 27 तक तो try करती ही. Like I did not take any vacation in from my office for the last 1 year of joining, just because I wanted to save all my leaves for SSBs and the medicals. So that is how I wanted to do it. Like I want to see, because I don't want to regret 10 years down the line कि कभी try ही नहीं किया जब मेरे पास मौका था. So that is how I approach. And like when the rank list came, I was in my office and I just saw and I showed it to my colleague and I'm like, देखो क्या हो गया? My hands were shaking because I knew that I performed well. There was a chance that I might get in the first 4 rankers, but rank one is a different kind of feeling, man. Like it is rank one. I called my dad, and it was my dad's wish and dream to see one of his daughters in the forces. So he was like, "Yeah, Radhika, you are number one. You've always been my number one." I'm like, "Okay." So my parents were very happy.
Radhika, we have come to an end, and after knowing your story and the kind of efforts, extra effort you have made, while working and then, managing everything is something, that takes a little more extra effort to everything you wish to have in your life. And I'm sure when it comes to academy, you're going to nail it. And sword of honor is nowhere, but I can see you from one of the few candidates who is going to be finalized for that thing. But thank you so much for joining me. It is one of the interesting videos which I have done, and especially it's regarding JAG, so it makes it even more special. So this is the first ever recording which I have recorded regarding JAG entry. Thank you so much for your time and the effort that you have made and the time that you have made for this video. It,
Thank you.
it's indeed my pleasure to have you on the platform.
Thank you. I would conclude by saying, I think, quoting something from The Suits by Harvey Specter himself,
Mhm.
is that I don't do my best. I do what it takes.
Wow.
So I think that is very strong. I've always believed in that. That when you prepare, no, do not leave any stone unturned.
Right.
Like ये वाला जो वक्त है वो कभी वापस नहीं आएगा. You will never have that 2 days कि अगर और थोड़ा मिल जाता. So just give it all. Like burn that midnight oil, use that fire, and just go for it. I mean, अगर नहीं भी हो रहा है, हो रहा भी है, so you will never regret that you
Absolutely.
did not give your whole thing. And of course, that journey, that kind of energy you spent on it will have some fruitful result somewhere in the future.
Mhm.
So, that's it.
That's so true. Thank you so much, Radhika.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching the video, and let me know in the comment section below what kind of videos you want us to make in the future and which part of the video you like the most. And make sure to like and subscribe. That will help us to reach better people and to make better content. Jai Hind.